Do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I mean, I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, I was just asking if you personally believe messaging with Jeffrey Epstein, who is at that point a registered sex offender, is appropriate for a member of the House Democratic Caucus.
That's the third time you've asked me this question, and I'm going to give you the same exact answer. Our focus today is on making sure that the Jeffrey Epstein files were released. If you want to have a conversation with Stacey Plaskett about it, I'm sure she'd be willing to talk to you. It was an illegitimate effort to try to remove her from the House Committee on Intelligence, and that was defeated in a bipartisan way.
Well, let me ask you about you, because the White House has been highlighting an email that I'm sure you've seen today that Jeffrey Epstein got in 2013. They say it shows you were soliciting money and dinner from an Epstein. The email was not sent from you. It was sent from a political consulting firm called Dynamic SRG that says, "We are thrilled to announce we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. Shoot us an email or give us a call if you would like to get involved." What's your response? Do you recall that email being sent to Jeffrey Epstein from that team?
Yeah, of course, I have no recollection of the email. I've never had a conversation with him, never met him, know nothing about him other than the extreme things that he's been convicted of doing. And that's why, I'm just strongly supportive of the effort, backing the survivors to make sure that everything can come out, whatever is in those Department of Justice files.
So you never got a donation from Jeffrey Epstein or anything like that?
I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can.
Wow. All right, folks, it's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
And Shelly E.
Hi.
All right, lots to cover tonight, but before we light this fire, do your part. Tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. So much to talk about tonight. We are Derek Chauvin the Democrats tonight, folks. We're getting into all of the news and all of the madness going on behind the scenes. And of course, first up is the Epstein files. All right, so want to do a quick refresh before we actually talk about what we just saw. That was Delegate Plaskett. Epstein's Island, everyone knows, it was an empire where it trafficked kids to power plays, the Clintons, royals, tech moguls. Suicided in 2019 amid federal probes, files sealed to shield the guilty. Trump's first term pushed exposure. Remember, he was the one who was pushing release the Epstein files. Biden buried it. Now, with MAGA pushing it all this time, Congress has unleashed the truth bomb. Want to get you all's remarks or reaction to that first, how Congress has just passed vote from 427 to 1 in the House and unanimous in the Senate. The files are coming. They're headed to Trump's desk. First thoughts, Nicole.
Meh. A distraction. This is what this is going to be. And instead of focusing on things that we can't control, we're relitigating some things that happened in the past for a twice convicted sex offender with victims who were paid off. Some of the ones who are still alive, God bless the ones, who didn't make it. But all of this for nothing. All of this is absolutely a Democrat trap to get your mind off the prize. And we're falling for it.
Yeah. Shelley.
Well, I have to disagree with Nicole here a little bit. I say release all the damn files, okay? This man, I would like to just see, and I'm going to be honest, I want to see the connections he had to the people and places and all of these possibly governments, if you will. But I do want to see that because it just amazes me. Again, I'm not implicating President Trump or even Biden for that matter. I just want to see, I want to get a better insight into how and maybe why he was able to finagle or maybe not buy in or whatever his way into all of these echelons of people across the world. I'm just curious. That's all I want to know for. And I do believe that it will be a distraction, Nicole, but I'm going to hold out hope that we can walk and chew gum at the same time.
They have never, ever in the history of history, walked and chewed gum at the same. The fact that they make it to their offices is just miraculous. When I say a distraction, this is a huge distraction. However, I will say this. President Trump is a very smart man. He knows it's going to be a distraction. Now, I'd like to see what he's going to do quietly behind the scenes while everybody is enjoying the gossips and eating popcorn and drinking ginger ale because their stomach is upset. You know what's going to happen. No matter what it says, it's going to be his fault. No matter what it says, it's going to be a Trump problem. But in the meantime, maybe he'll, riff some more federal people. Maybe, he'll actually send troops to Nigeria or drop some bombs. He'll do some things that Democrats generally wouldn't like while their eye is watching what's happening over here will still be changing culture. The problem is our Congress is not capable.
Well, they were capable of actually getting this done. I mean, can you all believe it? They voted unanimously in the Senate and it passed wholeheartedly in the House. I think by one vote that didn't vote for this. That's what's kind of annoying to me, that we're able to pass something like this, but we just came through an entire shutdown for over the longest shutdown in history.
We're about to have another one.
Absolutely.
Right.
We're about to have another.
And we still don't have healthcare debates or healthcare bills that are proposed. I agree with you.
My question, but I have to say this. I agree with you, Nicole. I do think it's a distraction. However, President Trump campaigned on this. He campaigned on this. He's the one that got us all riled up about the Epstein files. Not only did he campaign on it, but it was actually supposed to be one of the things he did in the first several days he was he won. So it was the close the border, the Epstein files was another one. J6 was another one.
Reduce inflation, things like
so
that.
These were things he said he was going to do
girls sports
in the beginning. So again, I think it's sort of like on him that we're all, he promised it and everybody's still pushing forward. But I do agree that it is a distraction that the Democrats are using because he's had such a phenomenal first couple of months in office, and they're using this as a distraction.
Absolutely.
But this Delegate Plaskett, I think this is going to backfire in the Democrats' face. And let me tell you why. I think that, as we know already, the Democrats are more involved with Epstein than many Republicans and President Trump. And this is what I just don't understand. Why isn't this getting forward? So as we know, Trump and Epstein crossed paths in Palm Beach back in the 80s, okay? Trump never went to Epstein Island. It has never been recorded that he was there. He did fly on the Epstein flight, one flight on the plane in 1997, but it was from Palm Beach to Newark, wasn't the Lolita Express, okay? and
and
then on top of all this, this was all before any of Epstein's trafficking and pedophilia came out. After it came out, around 2004 to 2007, Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after he harassed a member's underage daughter. This is all confirmed, okay, by Trump organizations, the court documents. Trump cooperated with the probes. And then in 2009, he voluntarily talked to lawyers suing Epstein, calling him a creep. We don't have any Democrats on record doing any of this, but all of the attention has been on Trump and Epstein.
Well, and it's going to stay there.
It's going to stay there.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. This is such a huge distraction because, given everything that you said, if they actually find out what we already know, that Bill Clinton was there many, many times, that lots of major Democrat donors were there many, many times, then what? Congress is not a law enforcement body. They're legislators. They're supposed to make law, not enforce law. So what is the exercise that we're doing? Why is everybody hyperventilating over something that's going to have no regard across anything? It's just like Shelley was saying, she just wanted out. She just wants to know. And President Trump did one of his campaign promises. I wish he would have said, before I leave office, I'm going to drop all these files, but we're here. What we're missing is birthright citizenship is quickly upon us. The way that we donate to campaigns is quickly upon us. We have so many important and changing things to our culture that are going to happen that you're going to miss because people are going to be worried about, what was that girl's name? Ghislaine or whatever.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right. They're going to be worried about Maxwell, what part she played, what clothes she had on. This is going to be a national soap opera with no happy ending.
Well, we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. We have to continue because this, like you mentioned, it is going to be a distraction. It is. It's going to be in the news. But if it's going to be a distraction, we need to get the truth out that Democrats were the ones that were constantly connected with Epstein. And that takes us to Delegate Linda Plaskett. Okay. So let's talk about this. One thing that I'm a little disgusted about, and Representative Anna Paulina took the what do you call it? She exposed this. So following the vote, because there was a vote today to censure Delegate Linda Plaskett because of her, as we talked about last week, or what was that, Monday, she was getting texts from Epstein as they were, I guess they were doing an investigation on President Trump. Okay. And actually Epstein was texting her, telling her what to say to nail President Trump. Right. Well, after that came out, it was exposed that there was a nasty backroom deal cut by House leadership on both sides to ensure the vote would fail to censure Delegate Linda Plaskett. It turns out GOP leadership was desperate to avoid having Representative Corey Mills from Florida face not only a censure vote of his own, but also an ethics investigation. So what did? They said, look, Democrats, if you don't censor Corey, we won't censor Plaskett. And it all fell through.
And therein lies our weak and feeble Congress. Again, this is why I say sometimes it's both sides. Both sides. We're not going to do one for the other or vice versa. So therefore, nothing gets done, and the American people still get this. I mean, even more than Epstein, maybe. But hell, this is why I say open all the books, Epstein included. I want a good damn novel to read. This is like a fiction or not fiction, a nonfiction thriller, if you will. I want to connect the dots. Have some fun doing that just to see. We need the truth. Our Congress is largely lame. I say that, Nicole, we agree. We agree with it. But that does not mean the American people are not entitled to know the details and the story, if you will, about Epstein or any other, quote unquote conspiracy. We need the truth.
Well, what do you think about what that deal that was made today, Nicole? I'm curious.
It's typical. I mean, this is what I was saying last show. The things that happen in Congress, this is not a big deal to them, right? And even a censure vote. Shelley, I don't like it. Censured. Right? So it's not like they're going to take her
Exactly.
seat, you know, she's not even going to be mad for 10 minutes. They're going to move on. Everybody's going to be over at Old Abbott's eating pork chops and Brussels sprouts by the end of the show.
The paper is worth more than the century.
Exactly. So all of this is just theater, and the theater is dramatic. Yes, it makes for a very juicy news cycle, but it gets you no closer to the truth. And again, I'm going to tell you, releasing these files are not going to get you the truth. They will be redacted. It is going to be redacted. And then you guys are going to be mad that it's redacted. And then, you know, Candace Owens is going to swoop in with her and her folks, and they're going to be putting names and spaces. And before you know it, this is going to be like the biggest conspiracy of life. In 20 years from now, we still won't know the truth. But in the meantime, we've got great candidates that won't get any attention, that won't get any donations. The election will be on top of us, and we'll all be sitting there, well, when did this happen? Well, you know when it happened? When you were all, you know, salivating over something we can't do anything about. Well, I get it, but it's just not the right thing.
Well, let's see what our supers say. We have a couple of super chatters tonight. Thank you so much already. Josh, thank you for your $20 super chat.
Hey, Josh.
Josh
Hey,
says,
Josh.
not to be superficial. Oh, be superficial, Josh.
Absolutely.
But you all look especially glowed up tonight. I
Oh,
shouted out Pop in Politics and recommended you all as guests on the morning meeting with Mark Halperin. I love Mark,
Me too.
Sean
Yeah,
Spicer,
Sean
and
Spicer.
Dan Turrentine.
Mhm.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank
you so much, Josh.
Hi, brown eyes. Oh, don't you make my brown eyes blue.
It's
Thank
too
you
early
for
for her
your
to be singing in the show.
and
It's
$10
too
super
early.
chat. She says, hello, my favorite group of ladies.
Hey,
Thank you,
brown eyes. How are you?
All right. Thank you guys so much. All right. So we had to get that out because, again, this is in the news. It's trending and it's going to President Trump's desk. So we had to get that out. But we have, and it's something we've talked about in the past.
Mhm.
But something else we've also been talking about is the Christian persecution in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. So, I mean, this is just heartbreaking. We have been sounding the alarm on this for weeks. Well, it has come into mainstream. President Trump has been calling it out. And guess who of all people is shedding light on this? Rapper, actress Nicki Minaj. She's came out and she's on the MAGA train now, talking about thanking President Trump for shedding light on Christian persecution in Nigeria. Take a look at these two clips. One is a church under assault, under fire in a church, again, from terrorists. And then Nicki Minaj is talking about what's going on in Nigeria. This is clip 2.
Hello, everyone. I must say I am very nervous, so please, well, thank you, Ambassador Waltz, for this invitation. It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion, like I recently stated on social media. And we don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. We're way beyond thinking or expecting or assuming for, the person sitting next to you to have the exact same beliefs. We're beyond that. That's ridiculous. But that shouldn't make one person feel less safe than anyone in any room. Music has taken me around the globe. I have seen how people, no matter their language, culture, or religion, come alive when they hear a song that touches their soul. Religious freedom means we all can sing our faith regardless of who we are, where we live, and what we believe. But today, faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly.
Wow. Well, she is telling the truth. As you saw at the top of this segment, that is exactly what's happening. So that is Nicki Minaj, Trinidadian born, Christian raised rapper. So she just dropped a mic at the U.S. mission to the UN on yesterday, I believe. She's partnering with President Trump's administration to spotlight the persecution, calling for unity, action, and slamming the inaction. She, as you saw, she thanks President Trump for prioritizing this. Well, she is getting slammed by the culture, by the left, of course, and by the music industry. On many of the blogs and things, they are saying, "Why did you stand up for this?" I saw something by several people on the left and celebrities are upset that she has spoken out and thanking President Trump for taking action about this. So I want to get your thoughts, Shelley. What do you think about the backlash she's facing?
To be expected. Yeah. TBE, to be expected. It's shameful. And let me say this. I am not a Nicki Minaj fan. If I played a song, if KJ played a song or something, I wouldn't know that that was her unless someone told me that was her. Mm-hmm. Now, having said this, I will applaud her for speaking out. I know she's one of those, I don't know, sultry rappers and things like that. That's about as much as I know. However, I applaud her for coming out and taking this stand on this issue. And it shows that, wow, well, maybe some of these rappers do actually have a brain and a heart, right? Mm-hmm. Other than just their music, that they can actually focus on something. Now, let me say this part. This is the part I'm grappling with. And by no means is it the major thing is these Christians who are being persecuted. We often talk about stars or celebrities taking the stage in a political realm, and what credence do they have? Or, why should we take their word, things like that. I'm just trying to be fair in my own mind. I'm not saying that's the major issue. That's what I'm saying.
It's not even.
I'm trying to be fair in my own mind. This is my opinion. I'm not poo-pooing her. I'm supporting her. I'm glad she's doing it. All I'm saying is that for the rest of us, maybe, just maybe sometimes for Shelley, let me say this, maybe sometimes, okay, we can criticize. Yes, we can criticize, rightfully so. But then there are times when actual people, rappers, whomever they are, can take a stand for something that's good and right and honorable. And certainly this is one of them. And by the way, I probably don't know who Nicki Minaj is because I always think she's Cardi B. I always think they're the same person. But
yeah, let me just, if I could. So yes, I agree with you there as far as, but I think this is like totally different. One, she's not stumping for a Democrat or a Republican. She's not even endorsing President Trump. She's coming in her own personal, saying this is wrong. And she thinks this is something we need to talk about. It's as if, for instance, if, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio, who is a huge climate advocate, went to the White House and said, hey, I think, climate change is a big deal and the Biden administration or the Trump administration is working. I don't think that's the same.
I didn't say it was the same. I said, I'm just making a comparison contrast in my own mind. I did not say it was the exact same. Right. I'm just pointing out some parts, if you will, that I'm just reconciling in my own mind.
I see. Okay. What do you think, Nicole, about what she said and what's going on with these Christians being persecuted?
Well, I think it's courageous for her because she knew that there was going to be backlash. But hear me say this very clearly. A Black American woman, pointing out that genocide is happening to other Black people, and Black people get mad at her for it. It's crazy work.
Yeah.
It's crazy work. This is akin to the NAACP supporting the white, CIA agent over the overly qualified Black woman. There's something very crazy that's going on with them. And I think it's the TDS is so strong with them that they can't see the forest for the trees. I mean, it's just where they are with it. But, I like that she's courageous to step out and say things. But for me as a Christian person, I don't want to talk about faith, right? Because these Muslims and jihadists that are killing these Christians, they're operating in their faith. This is not a faith-based thing. This is a genocide.
Exactly.
This is an absolute genocide, and take nothing from it. This is new on most Americans' radars, but this has been happening for more than 10 years. They have been knocking off Christians in Nigeria for a very long time. Now, as a nation, we can't take all of the Nigerians in. So I'm going to need Nigerians to do two things. Number one, stand the hell up.
Yeah, I haven't
You
heard
hear
many
me?
Nigerian Americans
Stop.
stand up.
Stop this, we're just going to be all flat on. We're going to pray and pray. Pray, yes, but pray like Jesus did. Stand up. Sell your robe and buy you a sword. That's what the word of God
problem,
says.
Nicole. They don't have arms in those countries.
Listen,
they're not. Their governments. This I'm saying. That's part of the problem. We talked about this before. They don't have first aid. They don't have 2A. So they are not.
But what they have, honey, hear me. What they have is 2 hands, 2 feet, some wood, some nails. You fight the way you need to fight. These are people, and hear me clearly, who spent most of their lives celebrating God, talking about the word of God, living in the word of God. Defend God's church. Do you hear me? I don't want to see you fleeing to another nation. Everybody can't come here. We can't take in everybody. We just can't. At some point, you're going to have to stand up. So God gave you a means to defend yourself. He gave you the word to protect yourself. And now he's put the biggest, baddest damn nation this world has ever known squarely in your corner. You should be fighting every day to protect yourself, to protect innocence, to protect God's house. This is not a time for weak-minded. I don't know how Christian men got so damn soft. Excuse my language, but men have to be men. Stand up. If you will not stand up for God, what will you stand up for? I've had it with this little pansy ass bullshit with these folks. Stand up. We cannot police the world. We will help you.
Right.
But you've got to strike the first blow, and you can't do it screaming and hollering God's word, but not living it. The word of God is not weak. It is not passive. He says in Ephesians, what he meant for you to do is protect yourself when he's not here. Stand up. I'm over it. I'm over it with these folks.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know their circumstances in Nigeria, but all the videos they're showing, these people they don't have arms. They're just they're just like regular people in church.
They're ass out.
Coming in.
Can I tell you, they've been going back and forth. Christians and Muslims in this nation have been going back and forth. Everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most people have a means of defense. So you want to let's talk about a war on the same continent where people didn't have guns. We're talking about Rwanda.
Yeah.
Right? But some people didn't have guns. How
they have machetes.
Right. So you don't think these people have machetes?
No, apparently they don't. They don't have enough weapons to defend themselves. Certainly not. I'm just saying against the government. I agree with you. I want them to be able to defend themselves, but they don't have the resources or the tools. And this is largely because of the governments. This all goes hand to hand. The governments they elect or however they come into power, taking over power, all these things, kind of things. But when you don't have, I'm going to say, a free government, a free expression, you are not able to defend yourself. You are at the mercy of the tyrants and totalitarian people who are in charge of you. I want them to be able to defend themselves.
I disagree. If they can make it to the United States, they can defend their damn selves. Hear this and hear it clearly. United States has done what it's going to do. We've made them a nation of particular concern. That means if their government doesn't get it together and get it together fast, we will put economic sanctions, and not little light sanctions, significant sanctions on top of them. They keep wilding out. Department of War are going to show you what they're working with. But in the meantime, we can't police you forever. At some point, you've got to take to your feet. This is how we got in the 90s being the peacekeepers of the damn world, with American blood spilled all over this world, because we did not demand that people who are from these nations stand up and defend their own damn homeland. Well, I don't want to see any American blood spilled trying to protect Christians. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a Christian, and I firmly believe that these people should have the weapons and everything they need to protect themselves.
This is where the UN should come in. This is where the UN, we talked about this before. Why are we giving billions of dollars? I think it's 13 or more every year to the UN, right up here in New York, right in Manhattan. Why? And this organization is absolutely doing nothing. They might issue a statement, or surely they hosted Nicki Minaj. Yeah, they hosted her. But look, not only that, look how much it even costs to host her in this event while the Christians are still being slaughtered. And again, let's not miss this point. The places around the world, with the exception of North Korea and I think I forget the other country, are Muslim countries where Christians are being slaughtered.
There's no place where Christians are slaughtering Muslims.
Right.
I mean, there's no place in the world where Christians are performing genocides, where they are doing some mass slaughter of people.
A genocide. And this is what this is. This is genocide. But, again, I don't want us to go back, us being the United States, going back to being peacekeepers in the world. It is a bad look for us. It is way too expensive spiritually, culturally. It is way too expensive for us. So these nations that we're going to help, everybody, all those nations that are on the list of countries of particular concern, all of those nations need to find their feet. Do you hear me? Find your feet, because I don't want to see one American kid dead. Yeah. Because somebody else wouldn't stand up and defend their homeland. When we talk about making America great, I need them to make Nigeria great. I need them to make the Sudan great. I need Guatemala to be great. Mexico, rise up. All of these people have got to fight their own battles.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Again, my heart goes out to these Christians that are being persecuted. But we know that, I mean, not everywhere is a democracy. Not everywhere is a republic like we have here. No other. This is why we always on this channel talk about how much we love the United States. There's nowhere on earth that is good, as great as the United States. Right. And we know that, we live in a fallen world. So there will be deaths and persecutions and things like this. As people tell you to stop praying, I don't believe in that. I believe that we are supposed to continue to pray for our Christian brothers and sisters in these areas. There are organizations that are helping out with food. And if we can, as private citizens, definitely support and donate where we can. But I mean, again, this is part of being in a fallen world. It is. And again, as you mentioned, we can't police the world. Now, a lot of times the United States will step in if there's some interest there for us.
There's a lot of interest in Nigeria. That's why China is there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
France
hearing.
Is there. France has a great interest in Northern Africa. I mean, but I'm saying they are much closer in proximity than we are. You have other European countries who are there who can send arms, support, things like that. But I just don't hear that's going on.
Why would they do that? It is in all of these countries, these other nations who are there, in their best interest to keep these people warring, because this is the way that they get the rare minerals.
Yeah,
that is what Nigeria has. That's Nigeria, if run properly, can maintain a successful nation based on the resources that they have. But for whatever reason, they keep having these regimes that come in and they get real, rich, and then they fall off. And then the next, dictator comes in, and it's a terrible look. It's a terrible look.
Yeah. Well, we have breaking news out, folks. If you've been following it, the Epstein law has been signed. So President Trump has signed it. So we will see as they release. I'm sure this will take a couple days. Yeah, the DOJ with what's her name?
Bondi.
But yeah, I'm not really a fan of hers.
I love Pam.
Yeah. But we will see. We will see. So speaking of, folks, as you all come in, please hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience. We have over 300 people watching. We want to get those likes up. Hit that like button. Share this video on your social media, and your timeline, in a text, in a DM, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for?
All right. We got Kung Fu CJ 6734.
Hello.
Hi, family. He is driving.
Drive carefully.
Safely.
Be careful.
Thank you for your chat.
Be careful.
Your
Be
super
careful.
chat. Simply Ashaby for your $5 super chat. Thank you. She says, you ladies are absolutely crushing it. Ugh, thank you. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ashley. Or Asha, right? I'm sorry.
Asha, yeah.
Thank you, Wanda. Hi, Wanda. How are
Hey,
you?
Wanda.
For your $5 super chat and a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. She says, not to be repetitious, but thank you, all caps, for the smart, truth-telling content, ladies. You're the best. Thank you, Wanda. Right back at you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
We got Tracy here, 1596. Thank you for your $2 super chat. She says, y'all are my sanity during the week. Well,
It's
you
crazy
get
as
sanity.
well. Look.
We are crazy by the time we get here. But
Right.
thank you for that.
Thank you so much. All right. So speaking of the innocent and protecting the innocent, let's talk about President Trump. So we're going to move on to illegal immigration. So we know Biden's border was the largest child trafficking free for all in U.S. history. But now the Trump administration is doing something about it. Take a look. This is clip 3.
ICE announcing a brand new operation to conduct welfare checks on the 450,000 children that the Biden administration placed with unvetted sponsors, some of whom were sex traffickers, gang members, and abusers. The Trump administration has already located more than 24,400 children, and some of these stories are absolutely heartbreaking, like this one. A 1-year-old unaccompanied minor crossed the border during the Obama administration. That little girl is now 12 years old. During her 11 years in America, she lived with a series of relatives and endured horrifying abuse. According to Fox's Brooke Taylor, she was found in the custody of 2 sisters who have now been arrested. The 12-year-old was found, quote, with injuries all over her body, extreme malnutrition, and an infected gash on her head and zip ties around her wrist. Among those who abused this innocent child were her one-time sponsor, a distant uncle that she was placed with in 2024, despite being an illegal immigrant with a criminal conviction. That sponsor, that alleged abuser, was given temporary protected status by the Biden administration. Why? Here is video that Brooke Taylor obtained of the Trump administration arresting that man just yesterday. This is just one of the nearly 500,000 children that the Trump administration is seeking to protect. And this operation comes after the administration announced that Operation Dirtbag, conducted in partnership with the state of Florida, resulted in the arrest of 230 criminal illegal immigrants, including 150 sexual predators. Here was Deputy ICE Director Madison Sheehan announcing that development.
In just 10 days, we've been able to remove, in partnership with the state of Florida, over 230 of the worst heinous criminals from their streets. Our job as law enforcement is to protect the most vulnerable. Democrats will tell you that that is the criminal illegal aliens who they have let run free in our communities, but not this group of law enforcement. We know that it's the children that is our job to protect.
Wow. Folks, we have been talking about this for a very long time. Biden turned America into traffickers' playground, okay?
Absolutely.
And the Democrats let him do it. They helped him to do it. And I have said for a long time, I felt like he should have been impeached just for having the border open. For failing to protect this country and our sovereignty, he should have been impeached. And now we have innocent children at risk. Nicole, what do you think about this?
I am very happy that DHS and the president are looking for these children.
Yeah.
Because it would have been so easy for them to say, it didn't happen on my watch, just let them go. If they come to the surface, great. But actually going not only after to get the children back, but the people who put them in this situation. I agree with you 100%. Biden should have to answer for this. His administration should have to answer for this. Watch how quickly he'll be so demented that he can't answer questions about this very thing. Having these children come unaccompanied should have been the first red flag. For them to go to random people anywhere in the country is obscene. We don't do that to our children. Why would we do it to these children who come across the desert or however else they got here? It is just inhumane, and it is not American. It is not the way we do it. I get what he was trying to do. You know, they're trying to, again, replace black with brown. I get that. But putting these children in harm's way is just unconscionable. It's a sin that, you know, water won't wash away.
No. Shelley, when Trump was president, the Democrats pushed the lie that he was ripping families apart. Okay. We have Candace Owens, who was out here saying that the troops should defect if we were going to go to war with Israel. But then we have this going on, and they said nothing. She says nothing.
Exactly. There is a spirit in our country, unfortunately, that hates children. I think that's the literally hates children, no regard for children's lives, let alone their parents, if you will, who may be a part of this trafficking. I mean, in a good way, like parents who lose children, I'll say that way, their children are trafficked. So there's that spirit there. Not only that, unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. They're not going to find many of these children. That's the sad part. That's even worse. And again, it's worse because as try as they might, 500,000 children, they're not going to find many. We might hear about one every now and then, and thank God that they are finding those who they can, and that hope they get to safety. But that's a lot of children, and the trafficking networks are deep. They're deep as a swamp, and they will hide, rape, abuse those children for a long time. Even if once they're past 18, they will still drug them up, all kinds of things. It's horrific. And our government, under the Biden administration in particular, this is why our borders need to be closed.
Absolutely.
Zero. Closed. I mean, closed off every corner, north, east, south, and west. This is one of the reasons why, so that we can focus on the ones that are here and try to get them to safety, resources, things like that. But we need to close our border. These pedophiles, these traffickers, they are vicious, violent. They need to be, as KJ would say, under the jail. Okay. I'm going to say, like Jesus said, put a millstone around their neck and throw them into the sea.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this, because I mean, this to me seems like it was done by design. So Biden,
absolutely.
I mean, the sponsors did not need proof of relationship. They didn't need a clean background. They did not need legal status, and they did not need financial ability. And the result were kids forced into meat packing plants. They were forced into 12 to 16-hour factory shifts. They were forced into sexual exploitation rings. And as you mentioned, Shelley, some haven't even been heard of. And the ones that have, it's been years. Okay. But nobody is talking about how President Trump is shutting down this pipeline. This is what we need to be talking about. Okay. I mean, 24,400 kids located and checked already. Hundreds of predators arrested. And the cases go on. But the left cry crocodile tears over kids in cages. And that was under Obama.
It was his cage.
They have pushed lie after lie after lie. And it needs to be the media, the Democrats, all of them were in cahoots with this. And this is why we continue to call them out, folks. This is why we continue to call them out. Shelley, you have the...
I wanted to ask, do we have a super chat? I'm sorry. I think we have a super chatter. I think we have, Kung Fu is back. Thank you for your $5 super chat again. He says, this is so sad. I am glad now that I was not reinstated by the GDC Special Operations. I might have been an inmate. Wow.
We would have put some money on your books too.
Josh is back. Thank you. Nicole, you're absolutely right. We cannot police the world. I'm worried that we're way too entrenched in foreign conflicts, and I want President Trump to get refocused on the economy for all our sakes and for his midterm, midterm. One of the things, I have to come back. I just forgot what I was going to say.
No, but I want to quickly say, now, I want to change gears a little bit, because one of the reasons why we had so many children trafficked, one of the reasons why we had them coming over the border in droves, were how the Democrats' welfare for illegals have fueled the trafficking superhighway. Okay. And millions of illegal immigrants are receiving food stamps. They're still receiving them. So this was just brought out in a Daily Wire piece recently. 42 million recipients. That's the highest in decades, and a substantial portion are non-citizens. Okay, folks, so Democrats have created a pull factor. So when illegal immigrants learn they can come across the border, instantly access food stamps, cash benefits, WIC, and housing, schooling as well, what they're going to do? They send in their kids over. What they did was what they call them, coyotes. They say, hey, send your kid with me. They're going to get us in faster and more easily.
Chain migration.
Because we're going to give them free food. They're going to be able to get into school. And these kids were put into human trafficking, sex slaves is basically what we have going on.
Oh, this is what I was going to ask. I'm sorry, Nicole. This is what I was going to ask. Not only, of course, this is horrific in and of itself, but why would this administration in particular, why would they allow these children to come here? I know they hate children by and large, but they had to get something from it, right? It had to benefit them in some way. You mentioned, because of the political aspect of
I'll tell you what,
getting voters.
This is how we get back to Epstein.
And I was going to go there. This is part of the track.
Listen, as you mentioned, this is how we get back to Epstein. Why was Epstein donating all this money to the Democrats? Because he wanted a ring of young people
available to him. Exactly. That's what I was going to tie it in some kind of way. This is a part of that. I mean, again, you have this available pool of young people, children that are available to him. Whatever he may have, and I don't want to go back to Epstein, but the point I'm making is, again, connect the dots. These people, politicians, whatever, they are all colluding. I'm saying all, but you know what I mean. They're all colluding. Again, at some point, whether you're an R or a D, at this level, it doesn't matter. Epstein is what matters to them.
Yeah, not just Epstein. I'm sorry, Nicole. I just want to say really quickly, we've seen there's an occult. There is a dirty, nasty, disgusting, evil, demonic system behind these boardrooms and Congress and all of them.
Exactly.
Right. That is fueling this type of stuff. This is part of a demonic occult. It's all part of it, where they use children. They take their innocence. They take their this is again the idea of taking their virginity. It's all satanic. Hollywood does this. This is the transing of the kids. All of this is connected, folks. And I mean, you may call me biased, you may call me partisan, but much of it is coming from the left.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
So I'm just going to say two things. Number one, chain migration. You want to know the reason why they let the children come in? Because with the kids here, then we need the parents, then we need the grandparents, then we need the aunties. This is them stacking the deck. Now, I'm not saying that they're not masters. Of course, we know they are. History has proven that, there is a very sick, demented mindset that sees children not as glorious little blessings, but as small adults that won't tell. Right? They can be bullied into not telling. The second thing is Chip Roy, congressman from Texas, is putting forth a bill called, what's it? The Peace Act, I think it is. No. I got to think back.
Say protecting children. I don't know the name of the bill.
And so what he's doing is to end chain migration, to freeze immigration levels at 0, nobody in, to take on Sharia law head first and to find these kids, And I think this is something that as a party, we should be able to get behind.
We should.
But you guys have a point. Now, this is the one point I'm going to agree with y'all on Epstein about, because, the past is the past and all that. But if there is any connection to other predator rings that can come from this, then it's well worth it. But I would think that if the DOJ's had this information, it may be a reason why they're finding so many of these children. There may be predator rings or hence a breadcrumb trail where they're going back to find them. It is absolutely unconscionable that we let this happen in our nation.
Well, and exactly. And here's the part that nobody wants to connect. So when a nation stops enforcing its borders, its laws, and its cultural foundations, other systems rush in to fill the vacuum. We're watching that happen in real time. Take a look at Irving, Texas, for example. So most people don't even know this, but Irving is the city where 2 Sharia law courts are already operating, and they've ruled over 300 cases in the United States. Constitutional authority. So they've overruled it. So that's not diversity. That is competing legal systems taking root under our noses. And who's behind this? normalizing this alternative system. Groups like CAIR, okay? CAIR stands for the Council for American Islamic Relations, right? Okay. And folks, we gotta open our eyes and then listen with our ears about this, because this is very dangerous. Take a look. This is clip 5.
Islam has a shadowy American organization called CAIR. It's so bad that even the UAE flags it as a terror organization. On the surface, CAIR, Council on American Islamic Relations, is essentially a civil rights group. In 2007, CAIR was in a trial where it was named an unindicted co-conspirator for flowing money to Hamas. They flowed $12 million. It was the largest U.S. terror funding bust. CAIR has 35 chapters nationwide and is responsible for all of the stupid trials when it comes to hijab laws and Islamophobia. They're really the people that pushed Islamophobia. In 2023, it spent $2.5 million on political advocacy. You know all those protests that are happening in universities? A lot of them are funded by CAIR. Polls show that 65% of Americans see CAIR as advancing other countries' interests over America. But the America First crowd is for some reason quiet on CAIR and don't care about CAIR. CAIR has ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, and it's so bad that the UAE ban, even Muslims, their own people ban them. Like, can you imagine how bad they are? Repost this so people know the truth.
All right, but we're told it's Israel. Israel. We gotta focus on Israel, right? And these people, I don't see huge, you just have seen the video of Irving, Texas, with all of these Muslims. I don't see Jews here in the United States putting in some new law system within the United States. But we're supposed to look at Israel. This is what Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, all of them are telling us. No. This is what we need to look at, folks. What do you think about this?
I agree with you, what you just said, but let me say, CAIR is here in Maryland as well. It's been here for a long time, right? And these groups, or these lobbying groups, I would not be upset if I would say ban all lobbying groups in the sense that I know they're a collection of Americans, a lot of them, and they lobby, but why should our politicians be, hemmed up, if you will, push one way or the other by a lobbying group versus the constituents and the American people who voted them in? I know these groups, they pool their resources, but they have a lot of influence. They have more influence than the average American who actually votes. And I think that needs to stop across the board. CAIR has been dangerous for a long time. We are just getting, I guess, more and more information about it. Thank you for that clip, that guy. But CAIR has been tied to a lot of these Muslim groups for a long time. And they hide under the guise of, we're just lobbying for the Islamic or the Muslim community, things like that. This is dangerous. Look at Dearborn, Michigan, other cities across the country where they have prayer, or 5 times a day prayer early in the day and morning, with these prayer calls and this Islamicization, I hope I said that correctly, of American cities one by one. Not to mention Zohran Mamdani. I'm going to take my time and say his name. But not to mention that. But again, it's moving. I suggest that we need to get caught up on Ayaan Hirsi Ali. We need to keep reading her and listen to what she says. She warned us about this years ago. She's still warning us, but we need to take her word. And you know what? These groups, they are not going to stop, just like Candace Owens. They're not going to stop, but we need to be better prepared and armed, literally and figuratively.
Listen, what happens is they're going to use our own laws and our freedom of speech, freedom of religion against us. This is what I was saying about what Nicki Minaj said when she was talking about faith. As a Christian person, I don't talk about faith. I talk about Christians. I talk about Christ. I talk about God, because I don't want there to be any confusion about what I mean. I understood what she was trying to say, and I get that, she's not a public speaker. I completely and totally understand what she was trying to say, but they believe they have just as much right to practice their religion in our nation as we have the right to practice in ours. That's what our Constitution says, right? Freedom to religion. She said it in her talking points. Everybody should be able to practice their religion. Well, what if the religion dictates that they kill people who don't believe in the religion? What happens when that happens? Because that's what this religion does, right? What happens when it becomes a problem that we can't solve using the existing laws that we have on the book? So the act that Chip Roy I was talking about, it's called PAUSE, right? The PAUSE, the immigration. We have to shore up our law that says, okay, peaceful, great. Coming after us, a whole nother ball of wax. You see these memes and reels all the time, and other nations are fighting back. Finally, you're finally starting to see Christians in Dearborn fight back. They had Christians in Times Square in New York City. They're trying to fight back. But we need legislation that's going to protect our way of life from the people who mean us harm. And that is not something that can wait. It needs to happen now. Governor Abbott has gone there and is taking the lead on that. But every single state in this union has to draw a hard line or we're in real trouble.
Yeah. Actually, as you mentioned, Governor Abbott yesterday dropped the hammer. He designated the Muslim Brotherhood and CAIR as foreign terrorist organizations, banning them from owning land or operating freely. So Texas GOP even passed a resolution calling CAIR a documented threat.
Absolutely.
All right. So again, while the libtards, as we call them, and the left is screaming bigotry, Abbott's just enforcing what the feds already know. CAIR is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, I want to say this. So the majority of Muslims, or I'll say people practicing Islam, are peaceful. I do believe that. The majority of them are peaceful. Now, with that said, I am Christian, so I don't believe in Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism. I'll even tell you, y'all might get mad at me, Catholicism, all of them. I believe in one and only, the Bible believing Jesus Christ God. That is where I am. Okay. So I don't agree with, believe in any of these other religions. Okay. But I don't want to use, to wipe out all people that practice Islam, because I do know a lot of people who were on the fight with us here in Maryland, pushing back against these trans ideologies, down in PG County. That was Muslims who were standing up against the left, saying that they could not opt out their children from sexualized education and things. So, but you can't come here and try to override our law.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. So,
and I know many Muslim Americans who don't believe that. They live and breathe and work,
and they can worship however they want.
Right.
They can wear all the burqas they want and whatever they want.
This is what I'm saying, right? You're right. It's a huge worldwide religion. There's a billion and so other people who believe in this faith, who are practicing this faith, who are mostly peaceful. But it only took 19 of them to come for us, right? It only takes one or two. That's all it takes. And until we can eradicate that threat, be peaceful, stay in a peaceful position. But those of you who are coming for us should be met with the might of this nation, so that they know you take that crap back to the UK. We ain't got that to do here. And that is what I'm saying. I'm not saying kill everybody off. I'm not saying that. Peaceful people be peaceful, but the people who come for the smoke should get the smoke.
Well, I'm going back to the borders, then the immigration. No, you cannot come here. Whether you're from Pakistan, India, Turkey, you cannot close the borders, and we can deal with the ones we have here. And if you have to go, you have to go too. Again, our Constitution, our state laws, those are the laws of a land. You can come here, you can pray to Allah, but you can't pray in the goddamn going city. I'm sorry, I didn't encourage y'all. I caught myself. You can't pray in the city, on the loudspeaker. The whole city can hear you, waking people up 3 o'clock in the morning. No, you can't do that. Pray on your cloth, on your knees, in your home, in your backyard. But the loudspeakers have to go. You can't go around the town or whatever, I don't know what you want to, but cajoling people, or maybe even terrorizing them, if you will, threatening them some kind of way. No, women are in America. If you want to wear a burqa, you can choose to do that. American women, I don't know why you would, but you have that right to choose. But you cannot force that on us. CAIR, Muslim groups, no, it's not going to be forced. You can't go. You should not be able to go to a city council meeting in Texas, Michigan, Maryland, wherever, and demand that the laws be changed only to cater to your religion. No, you cannot do that. The laws apply to everyone, and those are the laws you have to abide by. And if you don't like it, take your ass, I'm cursing, take your ass back to those Arab countries where they make you do those things and they force you to do it. I'm all for it. We will ship you back. I wouldn't mind paying for that, but you cannot come here and tell me, you can tell me, but it's not going to happen. I actually stood across the country, or I'm sorry, in another country for the United States of America. And I'll be damned if you're going to tell me I have to cover my face or only wear certain things. That's not going to happen. Yeah. And I don't want to hear your hollering in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then another 3 hours. I don't want to hear it. No, the answer is no. Go home, be shipped out, or don't come here at all.
Yeah, well, let's go through, because some people may not know who is the Muslim Brotherhood. And so basically it's the OG Islamist powerhouse, folks. So it was founded in 1928 by Hassan al-Banna in Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood started as a revivalist movement against British colonialism and Western corruption. This is all online in the Britannia. Okay, al-Banna wasn't messing around. He preached total Islam, Sharia law in every corner of life, from politics to personal habits. That was their motto. Okay, and so fast forward by the 1930s to the 40s, they were arming, sending fighters to Palestine and cozying with Nazis for anti-British vibes. Post-World War II, they assassinated Egyptian PMs, got banned, then bounced back under Sadat in the 70s. In 2011, they rode the Arab Spring. Remember that? The Arab Spring. It was all over the place. The Arab Spring wave. Mohammed Morsi became Egypt's president, only to get couped in 2013 amid chaos. Now, banned as terrorists in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Russia, and more. So globally, they've spawned offshoots like Hamas, and influence jihadi groups worldwide. Ideology boils down to pan-Islamism. So unite Muslims, ditch secularism, impose Sharia, and liberate lands from the infidels. Okay, and this is the liberate the infidels. That's in the Quran. So folks, this is the ideological cancer behind modern Islamism. Nothing moderate about it. Facade changes, that.
It's all or
we
nothing.
saw that it's not moderate when the Iranian Revolution took place.
Right.
The Iranians before the revolution, they were some of the most educated people, at least in the Arab land. They were able to be free. The women could wear regular clothes, and you could see their faces, how beautiful they are. Now, I mean, they have to be covered basically from head to toe.
They're not allowed at night.
They're not allowed. They can't drive. Their education has gone down. They were, if you will, as one of the Iranian countries before the revolution, they were some of the I would say wealthiest, if you will, on par with almost industrial nations. But now that's all gone, declined. They're coming, and this is what they do want to spread their quote unquote their gospel, again, small g. They want to spread their message. They want to force conversion at the end of a barrel, anyone who doesn't believe. And let's not just talk about the Muslim Brotherhood, because all of these groups are related. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, Al-Qaeda, all of these groups and many more, whatever names they might have in the little factions, they're all related under this Islam all over the world, mandatory Sharia law. They are coming. We better be prepared. By the way, there's a gun show this weekend. I advise you all to go and stock up.
It's as expensive as ammunition is here in Maryland, girl. Yeah. You need to get it before the price goes back up.
Yeah. And so also let's talk about CAIR, because that was what we were saying, the Council on American Islamic Relations. So who are they? They popped up back in 1994 in DC, claiming to fight anti-Muslim bias and protect civil liberties. So their official line, they're a grassroots organization with chapters nationwide, trafficking hate crimes, providing legal aid, and pushing Muslim voter turnout. That's the official line. But dig deeper, and they're rotten to the core. Okay, they were founded by folks like Nihad Awad and Omar Ahmad, both with documented Muslim Brotherhood links. Federal prosecutors in 2007 through 2008 Holy Land Foundation trial flat out said CAIR was birthed by the Muslim Brotherhood, leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they conspired with other affiliates to support terrorists. That's a direct quote. They were named unindicted co-conspirators, not charged, but the feds tied them to funneling cash to Hamas and other terrorist groups. Okay, CAIR for whitewashing extremism. That's what they are.
Yes.
And then in 2023, Awad, that was the leader, said he was happy about Palestinians breaking out on October 7th. And the White House at that time, even under the Biden White House, disavowed them.
Wow.
So these are not good people, and it's great that Texas is banning them.
They disavowed them, but I'd like to see who all took money from them.
Right.
So this is what I'm talking about. If we want to look at something salacious, something that's gonna get me break out my graham crackers and my popcorn, that's what I want to know. I want to know who took the money from CAIR and what have they not prevented in their states and in their districts, right? So when you take a look at the onset of Dearborn didn't happen overnight.
Absolutely.
You know, what's happening in New York City and in the boroughs where you see them driving old police cars, you know, shining lights on women outside after dark, getting out, you know, harassing folk. That shouldn't happen in the United States of America. As a woman in this country, I can go out whenever the hell I want to go out. If I want to go out 2 a.m, by the time I get home tonight, it's going to be late, right? And I'm not packing a husband with me just to go driving home. This is what Sharia law is. It is a regression of rights.
Absolutely.
It's a regression of humanness, all in the name of their false God. So when we talk about who took the money, what did they have to agree to have that money?
Yeah, well, Tucker Carlson says Sharia's not that bad.
Because they have clean streets.
Yeah, he was talking about Sharia law wasn't that bad.
You know,
we'll see.
Here's the thing, you know, there are a lot of people who thought the Nazis were right.
There are a lot of people who said they thought they wearing a burqa is okay. I mean, come on, because it's bullshit.
I'm just going to say that tagline for CAIR kind of sounded like the tagline for the Klan. You know, all of these things are kind of interconnected.
Absolutely.
Kind of joined together.
Absolutely.
But if this is going to be our focus, right? Because we agree that they cannot walk and chew gum. If this is going to be our focus, we're going to have to burn it to the ground.
Oh my God.
We're going to have to burn it to the ground and not leave any survivors, right? So that we can live peaceably. And I get it. Even people who are of that religion who want to live in peace are horrified at some of the things that have happened with this jihadist. However, there are not enough of them to stop them.
Right.
There are not enough.
Well, we had a super chatter. Let's see what our super chatter said. Okay. Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Thank you for your $10 super chat, Dennis, and being a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. He says Millstone Fund. That's right. The first $10 in the Millstone Fund.
That's a good name, too. That's a really good name.
The Millstone Fund. Tracy, thank you for your $2 super chat. She says the Dems are soulless, zero integrity. Wow. Yes. And wait a minute, I always get this one wrong. TLJI. But thank you for your $2 super chat. The babies are sacrificed by demonic entities.
They are. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yep.
It's a real shame.
Tracy's back. She says again for $5. Thank you, Tracy. I got a couple books for you. The first entitled "Know Thy Enemy." The other, "If It Takes 1,000 Years." Americans need to wise up to Islam.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kung Fu CJ, thank you again for your $5 super chat. Adam said our Constitution is for a moral and a religious people. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, folks.
We got another one. Bernie, $5 super chat. I think is Bernie new? He sounds new, but if you are, thank you, Bernie.
Bernie, welcome.
Hey, Bernie.
Psalm 37:13. God laughs at the plans of the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. Thank you for that. Thanks, Bernie. And Tracy again for your $5 super chat. She says, no such thing as a radical Islamist. They're just Islamists. People, educate yourselves about the Islam religion. Thank you.
She's got a point. You know, the thing about this Islam and CAIR and all of these things that are happening, one of the things that we need to focus on is being good Americans, right? We're coming up on a tremendous celebration year. understand that, A250 is a big deal for the United States, and it's going to be a big deal for our enemies. They're going to come for us, right? So what we want you to do is show your pride in this nation. Buy your t-shirt,
That's right.
Unapologetically American, right across the front. On the back, you got a flag and a fist. Let's go. Get you a trucker hat. Get one for everybody in your family. So while you're out celebrating next year, America's 250th birthday, that you can be appropriately dressed to share in the festivities, right? I don't know if we're going to get some additional materials, but I can tell you these two materials are must have. You cannot go into next year's celebration without one of these shirts. Now, personally, I'm going to buy one and send it to the president, and hopefully it makes it to his desk. Maybe I'll give it to Lynn and see if she'll give it to him. That's something he would like.
We got another super
like.
chatter here. Valerie with your $5 super chat. She's a new super sticker, I think, but thank you for that super chat, Valerie.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. And again, as you all come in, hit that like button. It really helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience. Hit that like button and subscribe. Our goal is to hit 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're very close to the end of the year, and we need your help badly, folks. We're very far from our goal. So we need you guys to share this video, put it in a DM. Look, we have another super chatter here. Thank you.
Thank you again for your $2. He says, I will have Bill Federer on my channel Friday at 7. Okay,
that's cool. That is very cool.
Yes, it is. Speaking of channels, folks, it's not just Poppin' Politics. Right. We are a group here. So we're here on Wednesdays. Tomorrow, you can catch me on Christian Conservative. That's at KJ Christian Conservative. Where I talk about news and politics from a biblical perspective. So we're strictly biblical on there. Me and Michelle. You can check us out every Thursday and Sunday night at 9 p.m. So you got to subscribe to us so you know when we go live. Had a great live show. We did a pop-up show on Monday night talking about the phenomenal interview with that Sean Ryan did for Charlie Kirk's supervisor, security guy. Security guard. So please, he debunked a lot of stuff. Go over there and check it out. Then on Saturday, you can check out Just the Guys. Saturdays, every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Yes, you can check out Just the Guys podcast. Got a great group of guys, conservative guys that get on there and they talk about news and politics from a conservative perspective. You get a male's point of view. Great group of guys, great conversation. Check them out at Just the Guys podcast live every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. All right. So again, we got something for you guys pretty much from every angle or most angles. And definitely we appreciate your support. Yes, appreciate your support. All right, we're going to change gears a little bit here. Speaking of when Nicole was talking about she's not having somebody tell her when she go out and when not to go out. And Shelly says she's not wearing a burqa. I don't blame either one of them. Let's talk about feminism, okay? So we want to change gears and talk about Leslie Jones. Do you guys know her? Leslie Jones. She is a comedian.
Big Les.
Yeah, Big Les. You'll see why they call her that. She's a comedian, uber leftist. She was out campaigning for Kamala Harris in a major way. She was on every news show, every podcast talking about Kamala Harris. And she was on SNL. I think she may still be on there. Okay. Well, she's got a viral video out right now where she was on the Kelly Clarkson show. I used to like Kelly Clarkson, but she's gotten a little wacky lately. But anyway, she has a talk show out. Remember Kelly Clarkson? She was, I think, the first American Idol winner.
What's the black girl that got the show too from
Jennifer Hudson.
Yes. Everybody's got a talk show.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And so Leslie Jones was on the Kelly Clarkson show, and she was talking about how, she is single at 58, and she was wondering why. Why is she single at 58? What's wrong with the men? Well, take a look at this exchange and you guys let us know. This is clip 4.
You know, the one area I get so scared in is like, this is weird, but dating. I get really uncomfortable. No, I become an idiot. Like, I'm so comfortable in my skin, and then you go on a date, and I'm like, what the hell did I just say?
Yeah, especially now, and men.
Are you good? Are you good at it?
I am not good at dating at all because I judge so hard. If you do certain things, I'd be like, I don't like you. If I look at your hand, I'd be like, your hand's too small. No. I don't like the way he grabbed his coffee. No.
Oh my God, I have a friend like you.
I just be like, it'd be certain things I'd be like, yep, no, I don't like you.
Yeah.
No, you don't take baths. No.
You know. Must have been a musician.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you know, it's just so crazy, especially now. Like, and I'm famous, right? You know, when you get famous and and you're a woman and you're successful, the first thing they think is what? You're gay.
Oh, you know what's so funny? I get that now that I'm single. People
really?
Think, yeah. And I don't really care either way. I'm into men, but I don't really care what people think. But I get that.
I will say it. I love men.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I don't love a stupid man. Okay? And I done got to the point in my life where I really want what I want in my life because I have worked so hard for my peace. If you can't be with my peace, you can be with the door.
Yeah.
If you, and I'm really like, I think I've been by myself so long that, like, first of all, I hate the term feminine and masculine energy. I hate that term so much.
I think we have both. Like we all have all of that.
I freaking hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in your masculine area. Well, why don't you get in yours?
Find it. And I think we have both.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of men telling me, oh, well, you know, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Can you handle it?
Oh, well, what you bringing to the table? I am the table. I don't understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful, I'm rich, I can fight. Like, it's not gonna be you, like if somebody attack us in the parking lot, I'm gonna be like, go get the car while I handle these 3 thugs.
All right. Well, again, so lots to unpack there. First off, I want to say before we get into this, Kelly Clarkson, wow, when did she become such a mealy mouth? I mean, even the part where they were like, where she was saying, some people think I'm gay, but I don't care. She had to throw that in there. I don't care if people think I'm gay. Okay. I mean, why do you have to say that? I mean, as a straight person, as a heterosexual person, if you're not gay, why wouldn't you care if people think you're gay?
Virtue signaling.
If people think, she was virtue signaling. Mm-hmm. She was virtue signaling. And you could tell she didn't believe what she was saying, but she had to say that because she didn't want people to think she was a homophobe. No one thinks, and that's the issue there. I hate to go off on a tangent, but we shouldn't have to cower for being heterosexual. Mm-hmm. You know, the one reason why you're single, maybe if people think you're gay. Y'all men gonna approach you if they think you're gay, you dummy. But anyway, all right, so let's get into that. All right, and joining us to go through this, to tell us why Leslie Jones is single is Giovanni, also Logic from Just the Guys podcast.
Hey, what up?
Hey.
Hi. All right. So I want to get your first reaction on this show, telling us what did you think about Leslie?
Well, she told the truth, right? So when someone shows you who you are, believe them. When she says she was the table, I mean, yes, she absolutely is a table. But we talk about communism on Just the Guys all the time. And this is one of the communist goals, talking about, discrediting the family. And this is what really feminism and the influence of communism has done to women. I've been reading a book called Wild at Heart, and and the author John Eldridge, I think his name is, lays it out really plainly. What men want is a battle to fight, an adventure to live, and a beauty to rescue. She is none of those things. And why would a man want that, right? That you're competing with his position. You're not someone that he wants to. She's saying she can fight. Well, you're taking my job, right? You're saying you're rich and successful. Now, incomes can vary if want women walking in their roles, but men aren't trying to compete in that level with women.
Yeah. What did you ladies think? What do you think, Shelly?
Well, okay. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because I know plenty of women, and I'm not her size, her size or bigger. Mm-hmm. They are married, they're dating, things like that. But I agree with Giovanni. She's not putting forth. I know she said she hates the term feminine and masculine. I don't think she knows what it is. I'm going to know. No. I don't think she knows what. I don't think she knows that what she is putting forth is almost a repellent. I don't think she understands that. And I'm not trying to say that to down her. I think that she's been in this, in her environment because of her money, her success, and I'm not taking that from her. But I don't think she understands that she showcases it, I guess, too much, and it's a repellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you think, Nicole? You think that's the issue? She doesn't know that she's giving off masculine energy?
No, I think she's plainly aware of what kind of energy she's giving off. And I don't ascribe it to her money or her success. There are broke women who act just like that, right? I think for her, she doesn't really hear herself kind of putting these men down, demeaning the men. You can't be ugly. You can't be stupid. You can't be this. You can't be that. Girl, what? That's no way. I mean, it's like walking into a restaurant and saying, I want a cheeseburger, but you better not put no seasoning on it. There better not be any meat on it. There better not be any cheese on it. At some point, the restaurant's going to say, get the hell out of here. I don't even want to deal with you. And that's where she is. So, masculine energy, feminine energy, I don't do that Democrat bullshit. What we need for her to understand is if you want a man, you have to be a woman. Right? Or you can have a soy boy, because the soy boys in the audience was clapping. Beep, 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 beep. They were happy to clap for her, but she's looking for a real man. She's not going to get one pretending like she's one.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
to me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question then would be, and I'll ask you this logic, because I actually do believe in there is a difference between feminine energy and masculine energy, or I'll just say femininity and masculinity.
Between men and women.
But there is a such thing as femininity and masculinity. It has been for generations, but it seems like just within the last couple of decades or so, we're confused. Like it feels like women, particularly, are not representing traditional femininity. Where is that coming from in your? Or do you agree with that? First,
no, I absolutely agree. But kind of one thing. When it comes to war and battle, if you want to destroy a community, one, you take away the men and leave the women to fend for themselves, and that's in a lot of ways what women have been left with. So now this idea of doing it all on their own, or this kind of being successful, has led to a lot of the destruction of family, where this idea of what family is or what relationships look like has been ultimately perverted. And this is, the prime example right here. I'm rich, I'm funny, I can fight, what she's saying as a woman, but I can't get a man. Now, if that's not a case of, or just exhibit A of why this doesn't work, then I don't know, what is. And I do want to say this too. Most people say men are shallow, right? Screw anything or what have you. But men, there's uglier women than her that pull more men because of they walk in their femininity, right? And if she can hang out with the guys, she's somebody I would probably go have a beer with. I would say that.
Mm-hmm. I agree there. I agree. And I don't think she's an ugly woman. I really don't. But just her mannerisms and her character there did come off gorilla-ish.
To me, that's what makes her ugly.
Yeah,
right. But I think maybe she's always in character.
That's what I was
She thinks she has to, and for some reason, she thinks that this is what she has to do. This is how she's made her success. This is how she's made her money. So this is how people know her because she's famous, but she's always in character. I don't think she knows how to not be in character and to just be.
So you don't think she acts like that in real life?
Like this?
Yeah.
No, I think she's always in this role. That's what I'm saying. And she doesn't know how to not be in that. That's what I mean.
I just think at some point, and I get your point. Some comedians are funny kind of to shield their own personal pain. So we don't really know how she really is day to day, right? What Leslie's really like, because we only ever see her as, you know,
I think that's
overly
that's
strong and that kind of thing. There may be a sweet, fragile Leslie that we've not ever seen before. However, you know, I get what she's saying. She thinks it's because she's rich and she's famous and all of these other things, but there are plenty of rich and famous women who are happily married, or at least married for the 10, 12 years that Hollywood allows you to be married before the next, you know, fancy person walks by and you're attracted to that. It's something I think that she's going to have to wrestle with within herself to kind of find her happy medium between who she thinks she needs to show to the world to be successful and who she really truly is. And once she finds that, I think Love will find her.
Well, I mean, obviously she's showing this to the world, not just to the world, but in her personal situations, because she can't find a man. I mean, and even if you take out her mannerisms and just you know, her loudness and things, when you just look at what she said, is way off. You know, as Giovanni Logic mentioned, sorry, Logic. You know, that doesn't matter to most men. I mean,
and she doesn't know that.
Right. I think she knows, but she doesn't care. She believes that men should overlook that or should be okay with that, should like that. She knows that most men don't like that, but I think she doesn't care. She thinks they should change, not her.
Yeah, but I disagree slightly, because she advertised her fame, her famousness.
Yeah.
She advertised her celebrity, I should say, her money, her success. She thinks that those are the creds that attracts men to women. That's why I say I don't think she knows that that's not. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt in that sense. I don't think she knows that those are not the cards, if you will, that men, the men that she says she wants. I don't think she knows that doesn't play like that. I really don't think she knows.
Well, I mean, that may be it too, because what we are seeing on the left, particularly, is those types of women, and they are celebrated. You know, many times within conservative circles, you know, particularly men, and Giovanni, I would love for you to chime in on this. You know, they talk about that kind of talk, that type of mannerisms, her type of character. Many conservative men don't like that, but on the left, that is celebrated by leftist men and leftist women. She is an icon. That is an iconic style character. She is the quintessential leftist woman. And that is being pushed up in all throughout culture, throughout politics, and even in Christian churches. Giovanni, would you comment on that? Where do you think that's coming from, and how do we overcome that?
So again, this book, Wild at Heart, has been. I just started it 2 days ago, but it talked about the fall, when, you know, at Adam and Eve and in the fall, and when Eve ate from the fruit, Adam was standing right there, right. So when we talk about men, it's men kind of allowing it to happen in a sense. For us to get to this point. And we can fast forward to the 1960s, of course, when, you know, civil rights movement and when the welfare state was really birthed and men couldn't be in the home. And, you know, basically men stood by, made an economic decision and stood by and watched this happen. So we see this kind of cycle play out in, you know, again and again. But I'll say this too, right? A lot of times these young kids, when they get involved in these leftist movements, they just want to get laid, right? So the easiest thing to get laid is go out and say whatever all the other people are saying, because that's where the radical girls are that, you know, want to have fun, whatever. But overall, when you start to want to have that family, when you start to want to, you know, build a life, you realize that doesn't work. And some men get trapped in that, and they're emasculated ultimately, right? So we're seeing a lot of emasculated men that are growing up emasculated because they're growing up single moms, single households. They run into these same circles, and they in general don't know how to be a man. But a lot of it started and was founded just from men not taking their place, but also women not allowing or trying to overstep their bounds too. So there's responsibility for both, but men have to not sit idly by anymore.
All right. Please, Logic, tell people where they can find you on Just the Guys. Please share that.
Yeah, make sure you guys watch Just the Guys on Saturdays at 6:30. We really address things from a communist angle because I think everything that's destroying the culture right now has its roots and tentacles in communism, and communism has really infiltrated our culture. So we're really bringing back shame to the issues of communism, what's destroying our community. So Saturdays at Just the Guys podcast right here on YouTube, 6:30.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. You guys got to go over there and check them out. It's a phenomenal show. Phenomenal. All right. Well, that does it for us tonight, folks. Again, we will be back on Friday night at 9 p.m. Ladies, before we go, please let our audience know what news you're following and that people aren't talking enough about. Nicole, I'll start with you.
You know what? It's me and the SCOTUS. I'm telling you, I've got my eyes on the Supreme Court blog every single morning. I am waiting for these decisions to come down like a kid on Christmas. It changes everything. And I think they know the gravity of what's coming. They decided not to hear a case about school prayer, which was shocking.
I think
that was earlier today. I think that was very shocking. But they did pick up a couple of political cases about mail-in ballots and about how money is donated to PACs or to state parties, or even the national organizations. So all of these like really big cultural changes are happening, and it's not getting the press that it deserves to get because it doesn't necessarily fit into the mainstream Democrat media's idea of what America should be.
All right, Shelly, what story needs to pop? What does our audience need to know about that's not getting into the mainstream?
I don't think it's so much a story. I think it's just more of a trend. The FBI, I've been looking at some of the posts on Twitter, on X, whatever it's called now, of the FBI, just whatever's going on. And it's just how they are responding, or maybe they're putting out things and then other stories kind of will pick up from there. So it's just something I'm watching, I'm looking at, just keeping an eye on it. I think it just it gives me an idea, or at least sets the tone for some of the news that's going to be generated through that day, and certainly over the weekends. It seems to have happened a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, like things come out over the weekend that the FBI may have put out or responds to, and then it picks up on Monday. I don't know. So,
do you like that? Do you like the new X account for the FBI?
I do.
Me too.
I like the illegal immigration account too.
Okay.
Which was Customs and Border.
ICE.
Yeah.
Listen, I like this transparency. This level of transparency, and some people don't like. They're saying it's too transparent. I don't think it's too transparent. I love that we know that our FBI is doing more than we previously thought that they did. I mean, they're very, very busy, and I absolutely love hearing about immigration enforcement.
Yeah, me too. I like that one. I love that one. For me, folks, I hate to be the dead horse, but go to the Sean Ryan podcast and watch his interview with what's his name?
Brian Harpole.
That's his name.
It was well done. These were two guys. This is why I liked it so much, because Sean Ryan is a military guy. He knows all about cases and things like that. And then you had the head of Charlie Kirk's security really break down what occurred that day, that tragic day of this assassination, what occurred. He talked about Erica Kirk, how she received this information and so on. And they didn't go and talk about conspiracy theories and what ifs. He brought the cold hard facts from someone who was there, who could give you first person information. It was so well done. Definitely check it out. We also did a reaction video on Christian Conservative. You can check that out too, but I encourage you to go check it out. Their Sean Ryan's show was about 2 hours long. We did an hour long on some of the highlights of the show, and it was really good. All right, folks. So that does it for us tonight. Thank you so much. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.